Carol Reese. Okay. Hi, my name is Carol Reese. I am a master gardener with Rutherford County, Rutherford County Extension in Tennessee, outside Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Welcome. I'm going to talk for a few minutes about flower arranging. I hope it piques your interest. Normally I have a live audience. I do not right now. You're it. Thank you for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. The first thing I want to tell y'all is that the bulk of the information that I'm going to give to you today, plus lots more information, came from Principles of Flower Arrangement, which is a document put on the internet by the Baxter County Master Gardener Program in Arkansas. So if you are interested in looking for the whole document, which is 17 pages, just go to Principles of Floral Arrangement, University of Arkansas, Division of Agriculture, Cooperative Extension Service. This document is the best that you will find anywhere. I took classes in floral design. I took a year and a half of classes when I lived in Virginia. And I paid $217 for my textbook. This 17-page document is a better piece of work. So please, Principles of Floral Arrangement, University of Arkansas, Division of Agriculture, Cooperative Extension Service. Here's the first page. Right here. Thank you. The teacher that I had in Virginia was a gentleman by the name of David Pippin. Again, I took a year and a half of classes. He is the best floral designer on earth, and he is presently employed as the executive designer for the governor's mansion in Richmond, Virginia. And so that's just an accolade to him. Thank you, David, for all you've done for me. Thank you. Today, we're going to talk about 3 different arrangements. I don't know if you're familiar with flower arrangements, but there's lots of different styles. One of the styles is called a line arrangement. Now, when you have a container and you're doing an arrangement, typically you'll want to do 1.5 times the height of the container. Now, with the line arrangement, you could even go a little higher. This is a somewhat tall container. It's narrow. It lends itself to a line. When you do a line arrangement, you want your eye to be drawn in a line. Right, straight up and down. That's why we have these gladiolas. In a line arrangement, you don't need a lot of greenery because you're not worried about keeping anything in a certain space. Line arrangements can have stuff in the bottom, leaves, cut leaf philodendrons, stuff that's slightly exotic, give you a tropical or an exotic look. I prefer numbers of stems that are in multiples of 3. That just means you do whatever way you want. That's one thing I really need to emphasize. When you're doing flower arrangement, how you feel about it is much more important than how anybody else feels about it or what they care about. So this is how we do it. 3 stems. See, these 2 stems are approximately the same height. That's a no-no. Let's take that one out. Now, as far as my experience, I've been working in the floral industry on a professional level since 2012. And I have loved every minute. It's also the hardest job I've ever had. Now, this is your line. This is all you need for a line arrangement. Something tall, at least 1.5 times the size of your container. And what you want to do is put other stuff in the bottom. Let's go with all white. That emphasizes your line. A lot of your Japanese stuff will just have sets of 3. And we'll do it like that. The Japanese, by the way, a lot of times will cut their flowers underwater in order to prevent any excess air or any air from getting into the stem. When air gets into the stem of any plant or close to the stem of any plant, it causes the plant to seal. All preserves its life is to seal that tissue off so that it does not lose any additional moisture. So these plants, these are just sealed. There's your arrangement. If I had a nice cut leaf philodendron leaf, I would put it right here so it tumbled over the side. This is it. This is a line arrangement. Let's go with a line mass arrangement. The difference between a line arrangement and a line mass arrangement is that at the bottom, or somewhere along the line, you end up with something that looks like a triangle. The stuff at the bottom is going to come out here, wherever you want. It can come out here, it can come out here. It's going to be even on both sides. And it's going to be balanced. When I say balanced, I mean that I have the plant material that even if it's uneven, in nature, overall, the symmetry is going to cause you to not look to one side or the other. It will be pleasing to the eye. Going with some gladiola again. And use some greenery. Greenery is primarily used to hold everything in place in your arrangement. Some people use greenery for aesthetics, but that's not the case as a rule. It's just to hold everything in place. Different kinds of greenery or different kinds of messy. If I was using leatherleaf fern, there would be spores and growth, little detritus growth on the backside. I would be sure to wipe it off. Otherwise, you get, especially in a clear vase, you get a bunch of stuff floating in your water, and people don't like that. They're not fond of that. Color choices, for those of you that are familiar with art and the color wheel, color choices are based largely on the use of a color wheel. You have monochromatic, you have similar hues, which are colors close to one another on the color wheel. And then you have colors that are opposite on the color wheel. So they give a lot more contrast. Now, I don't have any water in this vase. If I was preparing for real, I would have water in this vase. Here is the color wheel. You'll notice there's no white, there's no black, there's no brown. Black and brown are really bad in a floral arrangement. White you use quite a bit. That's actually the absence of color. And you use white to accentuate the other colors that you have here. No other color will utilize white better to accentuate the colors you have in addition to white. That if you have all pink, you see a blob of pink. If you have all purple, you just see purple. You don't see individual flowers. But if you have a yellow rose or a purple rose next to a white chrysanthemum, you see the accentuation of the yellow or the purple or the red. White makes everything more pronounced. Now, most florists and a lot of people use a lot of white, especially when they're doing sympathy stuff. So it reminds people of sympathy arrangements. Keep that in mind. It makes everything look pure. Makes everything look religious, ethereal, So if that's not your impression, you might want to stay away from white. As I said, I like to use flowers in sets of 3. That doesn't mean they're clumped together in 3, but they could be. You can use a little round thing, Lady Susan, if you would like, to do flowers. Gives you a little bit more rotational freedom. I have a tendency to break stems with my hands. If you do break stems with your hands, be sure that you water or that you wash your hands afterwards. A lot of the ingredients in these flowers can be very irritating. Is this perfect? No, it's not. But if I worked at it long enough, it'd get there. This is a multicolor arrangement. If I was doing this for a birthday or a celebration, I would focus on as many colors as I could get. Purple, blue, red, orange, because I want a riot of color to have a riot of a celebration. Dark colors are usually, the browns and the oranges are usually associated with fall colors. I want these flowers to be in this space enough, stuck in here enough so that they're not going to shift on their own. Okay, here you have it. I've come out to here with my flowers. I have a line up here. This is a line mass arrangement. Next, we're going to do something called a roundy-mandy. Roundy-mandies specifically lend themselves to round flowers. Your zinnias, your carnations, your mums, we're just going to have a round mound. There's not going to be anything up here sticking out. Now, a lot of people like to put sticking out stuff. That's fine. You can do that during. You can do that after. You do want contrast. If you put all one color, all one flower, you end up seeing just that flower. Roundy-moundy is actually what you would consider the popular bridal bouquet to be. The handheld bridal bouquet is just a handheld roundy-moundy. I have seen lately that they're breaking out of that roundy thing and they're starting to shoot eucalyptus out this way and they're starting to have big old peonies buried down inside, and that is so fun. But for the most part, your bridal bouquet will be a roundy-moundy. Carnations are particularly wonderful with this arrangement, and carnations are wonderfully cheap, and that's a good thing. If you want to buy carnations and make it into an arrangement, that's very handy. Gladiolas are cheap right now. Anytime a flower is in season, they become much less expensive. I passed an entire field of sunflowers on the way over here. They're magnificent. If you could be purchasing those for a reasonable price, that would be great. Flowers are expensive. Sorry about that. Flowers come from California, Peru. We don't have any from overseas on the market that I know of, but there are quite a few that come from South America. Your carnations should be open. If you get them and they're closed, just fluff them. Fluff the carnation. Now, extra greenery would be down around here. The flowers that I'm using today were for the most part donated by a wholesale florist in Gallatin. The name of the store was Eddie's Flowers. They were kind enough to give me carnations to use. The roses came from Publix. And Henderson's Flowers donated some stuff too. See, this flower color is just atrocious. I consider it the ugliest color on earth. But next to this white mom, it doesn't look too bad. Here, I like to use different tones of colors. So this pink is very similar to, this is a pink, this is a pink, this is a pink, but they look much better when there's a different colored pink than just the one color. Mix it up, do not be afraid. If you can't obtain the height in your arrangement that you would like, use dried sticks or a ting-ting that you get at a craft store, like the silvery, glittery stuff. Because okay, guys. I would ask you for questions at this point. But if I get a response out of this computer, it'll be shock to all of us. This is the document that I use most often when I teach. Principles of Floral Arrangement. It's Master Gardeners, University of Arkansas, but it's the Baxter County Master Gardener group. And this is where we got supplies today. Eddie's Wholesale Flowers and Henderson's Flowers. And we greatly appreciate those guys. And we greatly appreciate you taking time out of your day to pay attention to me. Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye.